Yes, hi everyone. Welcome back to the C Morning Show. Today, our focus is still on the 43rd ASEAN Summit in Jakarta. And in this segment, we will explore inspiring stories and initiatives from the youth of the region. Let's discuss how young leaders in the ASEAN region are driving positive change and shaping a brighter future for Southeast Asia and beyond.
Yes, and thus joining us now are ASEAN Youth Ambassador for Indonesia, Muhammad Iqbal Darmawan, and Miss Face of Humanity Indonesia 2023, Vanessa Claudia Hatter. Good morning, Iqbal.
Good morning.
Vanessa. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Today we're going to kickstart the ASEAN Summit. I mean, do you have any comments on the ASEAN Summit today, especially from the youth?
Of course, I am very excited for this 43rd ASEAN Summit because very recently also we have our 42nd ASEAN Summit in Labuan Bajo. So this is actually the extension of that, and I'm super excited to see where this summit can go and also bring betterment for not only Indonesia but also ASEAN in general in terms of economy. Right?
In terms of economy, why do you think it's important? Because obviously you are one of several ASEAN Youth Ambassador. Why did you want to be, and why do you want to be the ASEAN Youth Ambassador? What's your goal?
Wow, at that moment in 2019, I was actually applying for to become an ASEAN Youth Ambassador because my background was actually in education. So I was actually an English teacher, and at that moment, I realized that as an English teacher back then, I did a lot of youth programs in ASEAN, and I realized that as the youth representative, I really wanted to share this opportunity with a lot of other youths in Indonesia, but specifically also as I get deeper into the programs and into the organization, I learned a lot that ASEAN can offer so much to the community, specifically for the programs that they can enrich and empower the communities in terms of economic, social, and cultures, and also the security. So that is what I wanted to share with the communities, basically.
What does it mean to be an ASEAN Youth Ambassador?
Wow, does it mean? I think it means to be the the extension of the ambassador that we see standing in our countries. For instance, when we take a look at the organization itself, it fills with inspiring leaders, right? But they also realize that in order to extend that inspiration, we need to have youth to represent it as well. And that is why ASEAN Youth Ambassador existed. And to be ASEAN Youth Ambassador, I think it comes with a lot of responsibilities, but also opportunities. Obviously, because I can share the programs with the young generations, but at the same time with the local communities where I was from in East Java, and also the inspirations that I have and the knowledge that I received from the organization itself.
That's wonderful. And what about you, Claudia? You're Miss Face of Humanity Indonesia 2023. Actually, you were crowned just last month.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you to be Miss Face of Humanity Indonesia?
Yeah, it means a lot for me because I feel like I have a huge responsibility, not only going to the international competition, but Miss Face of Humanity is a global platform that believes in changing the world through humanitarian causes. And I want to share a little bit about a cause and a value that I always hold into my heart. It is Voice of Women Indonesia.
Yes.
So it's a non-governmental organization.
That you founded.
Yeah,
Yes.
in 2019.
Yeah.
And the focus is to empower women and children. And this is an act of humanity that I have been advocating since then. And I also feel that it's very similar with the cause of ASEAN, which is to promote stability and peace. And so going to Miss Face of Humanity, I want to bring up this cause because I believe when equality is achieved, the rest will follow. Like other social issues will follow, like the economic growth, social culture, and humanity will still remain and will always be there.
What sort of inequality do you see in Indonesia and within ASEAN that you think that, hey, we need to tackle this because this actually has an economic impact on the ASEAN countries?
Yeah, I feel like we still have a lot of challenges that we need to face, especially as women these days. But I'm so happy to see so many women rising. Like seeing us here today. There's one man showing that women's role nowadays in the society has accelerated. And as your Miss Face of Humanity Indonesia 2023, I simply just want to promote that, showing that women can do anything that they want. We can be equal, both men and women, because at the end of the day, it's all about equality, not wanting to be more than each other, but just simply being equal in the society.
And can you share a bit more on what are some of the initiatives that you do in the Voice of Women?
Yeah, sure. So I would like to share a program that we just started. So I visited my hometown last month. And we
Manado.
Yeah, in Manado. It's very far away from here. It's 3 hours flight away. We started a program called Empowering Women and Children in Prison.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Why
so-
prison
Yeah.
specifically?
In prison, because I know we focus on education a lot, but sometimes we forgot to focus on the criminality side. And talking about prison, as I visited the prison for women and children in Manado, I see that they have a lot of training activities for the people in there, getting them ready to go back to the society.
That's lovely.
But the question is, will society accept them? Will they be mentally prepared to go back to the society? If no, then criminality will just happen again, and we can never break the cycle. We will see poverty again. They need to fulfill their needs, but they cannot find a job because no one can accept them. So we wanted to focus on this specific issue so we can break the cycle of criminality, especially in Manado. And I wanted to bring it here in Jakarta, seeing how would it go in the big city.
That would be great. How would you bridge that? Because, I mean, like you said, right? When these women, they're out of prison, and then oftentimes society rejects them further. So how do you bridge them so that they can be part of the society again?
Yeah, reintegrated into society.
Yeah, other than trainings when they're still in the prison, we need to find out, like, is the trainings enough for them? That is why I am very eager to reach out and start small. I wanted to start in the Tangerang area because I live there. I've already tried to reach out some prison, special for women and children, because I feel that women and children are very vulnerable, and we need to take more concern into it. And also, I would love to work together with the government and some leaders and stakeholders, because as your Miss Face of Humanity, I feel like I can reach to more global audience and make a change, not only raising awareness, but also giving knowledge, proper knowledge to the people in the prison, in this case, women and children. And I hope from there, we can make a change, a small change with a huge impact.
Amazing. Now, speaking of campaigning, advocating, and also making tangible impacts, what sort of initiative that you take as the Youth Ambassador of ASEAN in your case?
Wow. Since I was elected as the ASEAN Youth Ambassador in 2019, there is a program that we need to create during that quarantine.
Right.
You know? So during the
each of
selection
you.
itself, so each of us needs to create an initiative what we can actually share to the communities. And what my campaign was ASEAN Shanti, where we actually create. So ASEAN Shanti means like the heart of ASEAN. So we wanted to create and integrate ASEAN in the curriculum of our educations. Although we actually had that curriculum already in our social science, right? But there is no specific curriculum of knowing better about ASEAN, and that is my initiative was. So aside from working along with the governments and also the Ministry of Education, we are also creating like a social activities where I visited like a lot of remote areas in Indonesia to teach them about the ASEAN cultures, but at the same time, we also try to meet these young kids with several ASEAN representatives. So I usually invite youths from Manila, from Malaysia to come with me and then like share their cultures with our younger generations. Because, you know, as much that we are actually different in terms of cultures, but there are also similarities as well.
What are the
Like-
similarities?
Like for instance, in terms of food, we have so much in common. Like when you visited Thailand or Malaysia,
Yeah.
like the herbs are like very similar. The sometimes
Rice.
the language itself is also very similar. When we go to Manila, like some of the languages are also very similar with Bahasa. So although we are different in terms of like country and sovereignty, there is so much in common, and that is what makes us ASEAN.
Right. And what do you expect with the 2-day, or is it 3 days, 2 nights ASEAN Summit? What do you expect, and what do you want the leaders to discuss?
Well, absolutely. Regarding the ASEAN Summit this year in 2023, we are talking about the epicenter of growth, like ASEAN matters, right? So obviously, we expect to talk more about what growth that we can actually achieve within the next 5 or 10 years. And obviously, as Indonesia is the leaders and the chairmen of ASEAN this year, we wanted to see more of how like small economics can also foster and grow and be resilient and to become a big income for Indonesia and also for the ASEAN within itself. Secondly, I also expect that the ASEAN Summit these days will talk more about the environmental issues. As we are in Jakarta right now, like the pollution is very, very bad.
It's very real. I have this cold because of the pollution.
Well, especially for someone who lives in Tangerang, it doesn't get better. So, but I'm so happy that there's also talk about net zero emission, because like if you see out there, there are a lot of electric vehicles that they are using for these ASEAN delegates. So it was really nice to see it, and net zero emissions. Sustainability is obviously what I'm also excited about to hear from these leaders and what initiatives can we actually foster within the communities to actually manage and mitigate the climate change.
And implement, really.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about conferences is that, and that's why some people can feel quite pessimistic about conferences of world leaders, is because some of the criticism is that it's just talk, right? I mean, what about the implementation?
Right.
The Earth I mean, the Earth is not going to die, but we are going to die if the temperature keeps going up, right?
That's
That's
true.
why we need to take it seriously. What about you, Vanessa? What do you expect from this ASEAN Summit? What do you want to hear from these leaders?
I want to hear more voices of young people because I feel like as the young generation, we are full of inspirations and aspirations. I always say that the young generation are like a sponge, and we have to have a sponge mindset where we're able to absorb a lot of things, open mind for everything, yet don't forget to filter things out.
Yes.
Yeah, because as the young generation, we're too passionate and eager for new things. Sometimes we forgot that filter.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait to see and hear new voices because not only to be seen, I want the young to be more heard. Yeah, and that's something that we need to work on, especially as the ASEAN youth, is by empowering each other. And there's a phrase back from my hometown I would love to share. It's Sito Timo Tumoto from Dr. Samratulangi, meaning human live to educate others.
That's lovely.
Yeah, so I would love to see that more, especially in our daily life as the young generation.
I mean, it is amazing because you guys are literally the representative of a very passionate young people who are, voicing out your concern. And it seems that you guys have your own cause, right, that you're fighting for, that you're working towards, right? What are some of the things that you still want to do beyond what you've been advocating for you women and children in prison, and for you promoting ASEAN to the young people and integrating ASEAN to the curriculum?
Right.
What are some of do you think that is the burning issue of the youth today and that you want to change?
Okay, so as for my side, I think I'm very interested in sustainability. So for a long while, I've been working along with some organization like which concern on like economic and also green economy, specifically in tourism. So like very recently as well, I was also representing Indonesia for like this very specific initiatives where we actually visiting a lot of different tourism where they actually adapt what's so-called as the regenerative tourism, where we're
Forgive
actually
me.
visiting certain tourism places. It is not only that we are, enjoying the nature, enjoying the tourism places, but also, specific things that we can do to actually promote a better environment. And one of them was in Kepulauan Seribu back then. So there's this very regenerative village where we are not only able to enjoy the beautiful sceneries of the sea, but also there are initiatives that we can do as a to actually plant the mangroves and also replanting the corals reef. So people can actually learn to actually save the nature, but at the same time also, like enjoying themselves in an environment. So
Like ecotourism.
like ecotourism, and we have it here in Jakarta. So I mean, we are actually very blessed with natural beauty, but do not forget to save that as well.
It's a great education also for the young people to start early on, right? Integrating them with the nature.
Exactly.
What about you, Vanessa?
For me personally, especially as the cause that I'm bringing to Miss Face of Humanity later on, I still want to focus on breaking the cycle of education, unemployment, poverty, and criminality. I want to break that cycle because when the education increases, criminality will decrease. And starting from my hometown, I've seen like so many children doing criminality just because they don't have the proper education, they don't have the proper background for them, ending up in prison, going out, doing it over again, and the cycle could never stop. So I really wanted to focus on that, focusing on the people in the prison and the society afterwards accepting them or not. And I was just thinking, since Iqbal was talking about sustainability, maybe like applying trainings that focuses on environment would be a great thing.
Then we can collaborate. As
Yeah,
well.
we can collaborate.
We brokered that collaboration. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's a very good idea
know,
that we can bring like planting mangrove and maybe including people from the
Right.
prison
Yes.
afterwards.
Yeah.
That's a very good idea that show the society that, hey, we're back, we've served our time in jail, and we just simply want to be accepted by the society. So that's a very good idea.
Yeah, that's a
right.
good reintegration program. And also a good sustainability program. as well.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Iqbal, and also Vanessa for sharing.
Thank you so much for
We
having
love the
us.
fire within you. Best of luck with all of your projects in future.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much
for coming.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we're now moving on to our next break, but don't go anywhere because we still have a lot for you today. Stay tuned on the C Morning Show only on C Today. We'll be right back.